In this video, you will learn how to troubleshoot and repair any Dead Google Pixel phone. Also, you can apply this knowledge to other phone brands, but yeah, let's focus on Pixels because you will solve like at least 70% of Pixel phones by using the knowledge that I'm going to give you here. So, for example, if you receive this Pixel that is not powering on, I think it should be a Pixel 4 PCB. The first thing that you need to keep in mind, you need to take a look at the battery connector. We have the battery connector here. Take a look at the battery connector. Check the battery voltage. I think that's normal. Make sure that the battery is at least 3.6 volts. So if you get the 3.6 volt, the next thing that you have to check, you have to set your multimeter, especially for those who do not have tools. But first you should have a multimeter. So I have my multimeter here. I'm going to set the multimeter. I can leave it to auto. Your multimeter can be different, like this one. So if you are using this type, set your multimeter here to diode test range. It's mostly integrated with the buzzer mode. So after you have set your multimeter to the diode test range, this is what I want you to do. You see we have our PCB, right? We have the multimeter probes. We are getting a beep, right? So that's a beep. What you have to do is set the red probe. You have the red probe here. Set the red probe to the ground of the mobile PCB. So I call this cold testing. I don't know what other technicians call it, but I call this cold testing or backward testing, because we are putting the red probe to the GND instead of black probe. So the reason why you perform this reverse testing is because the reverse testing is very good at detecting even shorts, that detecting current leakage throughout the PCB that the forward testing cannot detect. We have components like diodes that they can stop any leakage in some sections of the PCB, because you can only read the diode in forward, or you can only read the diode in backward mode, depending on how the diode is being connected. Not to complicate things. So after setting, putting the probe to the GND, use your black probe. First, you should be able to detect the positive or the negative side of the battery connector. You will see that there are always the bigger pins in the battery connector. You can see that we have a bigger pin here, another bigger one there, then we have two small pins in the middle of the connector. So these two bigger ones are the positive and the negative. But if in case you don't know how to identify it, you can just go ahead and test. But you should keep in mind that only one of these should beep, which is the GND. So we are getting a beep, and if you take a look at the multimeter, you will see that we have 0 ohm connection right there. This side should not beep. The side should not beep. And also, if you take a look here, you will see that it's not beeping and it's not giving a reading. If someone who knows about multimeter well, if the person is watching this video, the person should be able to tell exactly why the PCB is not giving any reading when I'm testing the positive. That's because we are not testing the diode reading of this PCB. We are testing the continuity of this reading. We are testing for current leakage, for a full current leakage on this mobile PCB here in the buzzer mode section. So for us to get a reading in the positive side, you have to set your multimeter to diode test range. And for these multimeters, like I said, the buzzer mode and the diode test range will be integrated. So if you set it here, there is no need to switch it again, because you can see we have the diode and we have the buzzer mode right there. So I'm just switching through my multimeter so that you can clearly see the signs. I can also as well use the auto mode of this my multimeter. So here, when you set it here, you should see the type of reading that we are getting now. If I set it, you will see that we are getting like 0 current drop out through the circuit, which means that that's the negative, right? So if it tests the positive, it should give a reading. You can see we are getting 3 360, 370, voltage drop, diode drop, whatever you can call it, ohm reading, whatever you can call it. So you just have to keep in mind that that reading shows that the primary section of the mobile PCB is working well. It doesn't automatically mean that the PCB is okay. The multimeter can only test the primary, which is the VBAD line of the mobile PCB. So if you are going deep into troubleshooting now that you know that there is no short in the VBAD, after leaving the VBAD, the next thing that you have to head on to, you have to locate the charging section of that mobile PCB, because after checking the primary, which is this, the battery connector, you have to look for the secondary line. So like I said, when you're looking for a short here, you can only detect a short in the VBAD line using your multimeter. And when it comes to the DC power supply, the DC power supply helps a lot, because when you connect it here, you can even detect shorts in the secondary line of the mobile PCB by showing you auto current consumption and all that. But I'm focusing on beginners here, most people who don't have tools. So if you don't have a DC power supply, all you have to do, you need to be able to detect the charging circuit. You will see that the charging IC is similar to the power manager IC, but it doesn't have a lot of capacitors surrounding the IC. On any mobile PC, it doesn't have a lot of capacitors surrounding the IC. And in most cases, you will always see the VPH inductor, which is just one inductor. It's always a bigger size. So there are some phones with charging ICs being integrated with power manager ICs, but in most cases, if it's an independent charging IC, you will see that we have the IC and we have the VPH inductor, right? So let me set this multimeter to diode reading mode, so that you can automatically detect a continuity test and diode reading. So if I test here, it's supposed to beep. If I test there, it's supposed to beep. And if I test here, it's supposed to give a diode reading. Supposed to give a diode reading here. That's 2 kilo ohm. But what you are looking for here, you just want to make sure that there is no short in this VPH line. So these capacitors here, they are connected to the secondary line. So it will beep on one side and the other side should give a reading. The other side should give a reading. So this is actually testing the ohm reading of this line, because if I set it to the diode testing range, the reason why I'm switching between ranges here is also for you to be able to understand how to operate the multimeter, because you might end up getting any type of multimeter that you have. So if I use the diode testing range, you will see that the reading here will be low. I test the negative, the positive side, you see that we are having 310 ohm reading right here, diode drop reading. So you can see that at first it was showing like 2 kilo, because it was testing the ohm reading of this section, and what we are testing right now is the diode reading of the section. That's why you can see that we have the diode symbol here and we have the V here, which means that it's showing the voltage drop throughout the entire circuit. You get. And if I set it to auto again, then test it, you will see the difference between the reading now. So you see the difference. You can see that we have kilo ohm, 2.2 kilo ohm, not a diode reading again. So this is all about your multimeter. The range is how it selects. So this is all about your multimeter. So if you are using this type of multimeter or any type of multimeter, you should be able to easily understand and differentiate this type of readings. Also, when you are testing here, you need to make sure that you are not getting a low diode drop. Also, when you are testing the battery connector, you have to make sure that you are not getting a low reading here. Just because I said that if it's beeping, it's shorting, doesn't mean that if it's not beeping, it doesn't mean that it can be shorting if it's not beeping. Does that sound right? So there are times that it can still not be beeping, but there is a short. That's why you need to know that you have to expect a higher home reading, at least 250. There are some phones that will actually switch on with 220 home reading when you test in diode mode around the VBAD line. There's the VBAD line, you will get like 220. There are some phones that can actually switch on there, but if you are getting anything less than, let's say anything less than 150 in the VBAD line around the battery connector, you should not doubt that there is a short somewhere in a mobile PCB, and that type of short can either be caused by any component breaching the VBAD line to ground, or the charging IC, or any other section in a mobile PCB that uses the VPH or the primary power line. So that's not all about troubleshooting this particular phone, but that's enough information for today. We just talked about a little circuit, and the video is this long, so you need to know that it's not that simple. Well, I'm saying my right here. You can learn every single thing from my online courses, and also you can get my book, The Block Diagram Master. So thank you, and make sure you follow for more videos. We'll upload the second part of this type of troubleshooting, phones for troubleshooting and all that. Thank you.